Racing drivers are competitive by nature, but we're also still very human, and so we care about those around us when they're in need. Today, while there's fun to be had, egos to boost, and pride in accomplishment, the center of attention all goes to a very special cause. Today, we not only race to find the fastest driver, but race to help some children in need in the city of Mumbay. I hope you'll join us in our efforts as we get ready to watch the Formula Giving Race for Vimala, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is the fan belt, Johan Vandenbelt. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Ducky Beard. Johan, Watkins Glen has seen a lot of these big grid races. We've even covered some before with the Formula Renault. What is it about this place that suits these mass gatherings so well?
Yeah, today we visit Watkins Glen International, located in Watkins Glen, New York, at the southern tip of Seneca Lake. The permanent circuit we visit today was constructed all the way back in 1956, replacing the public road course that was being used at that time. A few years later, in 1971, the track saw a big refurbishment, which added the boot section and increased the length of one lap to 5.4 kilometers. And after this, the layout basically stayed the same until now. And the Formula Renault we see on track today hasn't raced at Watkins Glen, but it doesn't mean that the track is unfamiliar with open wheel racing. Formula 1 visited the quick track between 1961 and 1980, and IndyCar visited it last year, with Scott Dixon setting the current track record that weekend. The Watkins Glen offers a combination of 11 corners on both asphalt and concrete surface. The track is amazing in the Formula Renault, with the flowing S's at the beginning of the track, the very quick carousel at the end of the back straight, and the tricky off-camber turn 9 as some personal highlights. It's a track where drivers have to use every millimeter of track to be quick. And to get an idea of how you do this, let's jump on board our GSRC Formula Renault 2.0 for a lap around Watkins Glen.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around Watkins Glen. Coming down the front stretch, you've got a great passing opportunity into turn 1, but you may want to wait, and I'll explain why in a bit. Main thing is, don't outbrake yourself with a downhill entry. As you come off the corner, get to the power as soon as you're safe to, because you're going to need every ounce of momentum you've got. Climbing up through the S's, your foot will be flat to the floor, and it's here that it'll start to become obvious why you don't want to pass into turn 1. At the top of the hill, we've reached the backstretch, and with a long run down to the carousel, that draft is going to be reeling in anyone within a second of you. A good run off the first corner is so much more critical and presents an easier chance to pass. That's why patience will pay off. Coming up to the carousel, you'll use the banking as much as possible to try to carry speed down into the apex of the corner. This is a lengthy bend too, so try not to turn in too early and force yourself into a wide exit. Once you come off the corner, swing off to the right and try to get her slowed up for the chute. Even with the downforce of the Renault, the entry into this corner is difficult. From there, switch sides to line up for the toe of the boot. This is a spot where passes can happen, but they usually have to be sneak attacks. Because of the steep uphill climb of this corner and its exit, you absolutely need a late apex. But be careful, hesitate to get on the power, and anyone within striking distance is going to be grabbing the opportunity with both hands. And to help the attacker out, there's a good braking zone into the heel of the boot. Be careful to stay off those inside curbs though. After that, this left-hander brings you back onto the main course. There's a rise here that makes traction extra difficult, so it never fully feels like you hit this corner right. Out of there, stay to the right and hold on tight. Indianapolis only requires a tiny lift, but this single-file bend scares even the most steely-nerved drivers. You have zero time to relax because you're chucked into the final corner. The proximity of the barriers makes this feel like a street circuit, and it will punish you if you take it for granted. Hopefully you kept it out of the Armco and can now finish a lap around Watkins Glen.
You can see why this is one of the most popular tracks here on iRacing. Fast, difficult, and punishing, but at the same time, just a lot of fun as a driver. Now, we mentioned this is a charity event. This is a big deal that we're doing here today. And, well, we mentioned the Vimala Center. And, well, that's a place in Mumbai where Sister Batilla cares for the children of parents with leprosy as well as orphans. The center offers the children shelter, food, even an education. Some of the kids have gone as far as receiving a college education thanks to the help of the center. Now, in recent times, the Vimala Center has seen financial difficulties. And even though Sister Batilla has run the place successfully for 40 years, she needs our help. While the donations of the participants in today's race are a huge boost, if anybody watching feels so inclined, any amount of money goes a long way to helping the children. A mere 1,000 euros manages to feed, clothe, and educate a child for an entire year. That is huge. You can find a donation link in the video description below, and we definitely encourage everyone to consider giving towards this excellent cause. That's really the whole purpose of these drivers coming out here today, is try to raise money for the Vimala Center and for Sister Bertilla to help continue her welfare towards all the children of that area. So that said, let's get to the racing a bit as well, because, well, we do want to watch a race, not just talk about the money that we're raising as well. And Johan, what do we have in store for us for this big grid race?
Yeah, of course, we drive the Formula Renault 2.0 today at Watkins Glen. The big grid race will last 27 laps. 27 times the drivers will lap this circuit. At the moment, qualifying is open. 60 cars maximum will start on the grid. Open qualifying and also open setups. But remember, the cars do not have to make a pit stop for fuel. So once they start, they will finish it till the end of the race. There's no incident cap, and when disaster strikes, there's one moment that the drivers can come into the pits and get a new car to make it until the end.
And for all the wonderful things that these drivers have done to help raise money, from last I heard, I think there was 800 euros they had raised so far, but the count might be slightly different from that now. For all that they've done and they've given, they are being rewarded some as well in this race. There's a few sponsors that have come forward to help donate prizes, to give incentive to drivers to come in and donate and help participate and raise awareness here. One of those, actually, iRacing themselves, huge credit to iRacing in this. They've donated $1,000 in iRacing credits. That is... Johan, that's a lot, actually. I'm actually pretty wowed at how big they've come forward. And that just goes to show you how much iRacing cares about the efforts of the members in its community and the causes that they care about.
Yeah, it's a beautiful gesture of iRacing, of course. And like you said at the beginning when you told a little bit about the Vimala Center, Joe, 1,000 euros, basically $1,000, that's enough to feed, clothe, and educate a child for an entire year. So, yeah, beautiful initiative that iRacing is willing to contribute such a big amount to the charity.
We've also got VRS has gotten involved. The virtual racing school, if you're not familiar with VRS, they help make you faster, essentially. Well, train you to be faster. They can't make you faster. But they've donated $500 in credits to their website as well. There's all kinds of things that you can buy to help you learn how to be a faster driver there. So definitely a big thank you to them. Hoisingveld Engineering, this is a unique one, though, that I thought was very cool of them to do. They donated some Sim Pedals Pro. So some racing gear, some physical gear that you can actually get. These are worth 700 euros themselves, and they are up for auction. So drivers can bid on those. Now, you know, obviously, if they get higher than what they would usually cost, that's actually better. Right now, I understand they're only at 200 euros at the moment, so they're actually a little low. They're a bargain right now. But if you want to go and check out that auction as well, all the money that is donated from that auction will go towards the Vimala Center. We also want to give a big thank you to the Lions Club Montesaneri for helping with this event, and of course to the Sim Racing Coach people. They make high-quality handmade wheels at affordable prices, as well as OSW systems and even more. So go check them out. A big thank you to all of our sponsors who came forward to help with this event in many various great ways. Back to the racing, though, once again, we're currently in qualifying. Now, big thing out here is we've got some really fast names. This is quite a lot of heavy hitters that we're seeing hit the track here, Johan.
Yeah, and at the moment, Gianni Zilvasti is the current pole sitter with a little bit over 6 minutes to go. He was one of the top 3 drivers in the end of the last Formula Renault season. He is continuing in week 13 in that incredible run. At the moment, he's put down a 1:45. Now that's over a tenth quicker than P2 Harrison Finch. Now over a tenth, that might not sound a lot, Joe, but in a field of 60 drivers, if you're 1/10 quicker than the rest, that's actually pretty big deal. So a good qualifying effort out there so far from Silvasti.
Indeed, and we're used to seeing Finch here in the Formula Renault. In fact, it's kind of nice to see him back in that car. We watched him, covered him racing in the McLaren, the Formula One car, here for a season on the Global SimRacing Channel. Showed he's not just fast in these little bit lower tiered open wheel cars, but even with the big boys. So I expect Harrison to give Uni a run for his money for sure. There we see Charlie Summers up there as well, currently sitting in 4th. Used to seeing him in the Apex Online Racing Series with the Formula Renault. Tends to be relatively fast. We've also got some real-world drivers here racing today. Hugo Hernandez Gutierrez, I believe, is here. Let me double-check, actually, that he's on the grid. And actually, no, I guess he did. Hugo did not show up today. But we do have, I believe, João Oliveira. Now, João is a very cool story. He is a disabled racer and races with a modified wheels where he's got pedals on the brake and gas, a lot like a sort of Alex Zanardi situation for João. And obviously, not a slow driver by any stretch of the imagination. He's sitting 12th.
Yeah, a very good qualifying effort so far from João Oliveira. He's currently, still turning laps, trying to improve a little bit. But P12, that's very good. He's just behind Gigi Morak. He is, it seems like, drafting a little bit with Flavio Saturnino, trying to get a slightly better lap time out there. But yeah, a great qualifying effort from Oliveira. Now, another driver in real life that we have on the grid today is Alex Johnson. He is currently in P18 with a 1:41.9. Now he's a former Ford racer from Denmark. He was a podium finisher in all the races back in 2013 with a winning rate of over 50%. Now that's not something too shabby, not something to laugh about. That's really good. So Alex Johnson, another real race car driver that we have out there on the track today.
Yeah, I mean, when you get that sort of consistency and that high of results, race after race, that really says something for you. As we watch Harrison Finch continue to try to close down that 0.2 of a second gap, just about 3.5 minutes left on the clock here in qualifying, which interestingly, Johan, is open qualifying. So traffic, not only an issue that you have to avoid, but maybe you could sneak a draft around here, get a little bit of a faster lap.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we see several drivers in the shot at the moment trying that. It's a difficult track to do, and especially with this amount of drivers. We have 49 drivers set a lap time so far, so traffic is 100% a factor out there in qualifying. But like you say, there's not a lot of draft coming behind these Formula Renault cars. But once you get close to the rear of another driver, it will suck you towards him, and you will really see that reflected in your lap time. So working together as a team, like we saw with some drivers out there earlier in qualifying, will really benefit you in this open qualifying session. And that's interesting because it's not only a matter of being quick in qualifying, it also adds a little bit of strategy, trying to find open track position and also making sure that working together with your teammates goes smoothly.
Certainly does, and this is very much a world event that we have out here. That's part of how we have this many drivers out on track. I see 49 have got a time in, but I think we're in the realm of about 55, almost 60 drivers out there. But just to give you an idea of when I say worldwide, these are some of the clubs that have shown up to race: Scandinavia, Italy, UK and Iberia, the DH Club, which is Germany, Australia, and Switzerland. Or not Austria, excuse me. We do have Australia here as well. Italy, Canada. Obviously, we've got a few Americans in here. The New Jersey Club, Midwest Club. Brazil has shown up. New York, I see out here. Benelux, of course, your club is out here, Johan. So this is quite a wide variety. I'm kind of excited to see exactly how this all plays out with just the swath of talent.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking through the club list at the moment as well. I think the only one that we're missing is maybe Eastern Asia at the moment. But like you say, it's really a world event. So no matter where you're from, you can pick your favorite driver and cheer for it. Great to see that people all over the world are joining for this event to race for charity. And of course, have some fun out there on track as well. With only 1 minute and 20 seconds of qualifying left, it's still Juni Silvasti on pole position, still with the 1:45.91. Hasn't improved his time so far, but Harrison Finch in P2 isn't getting closer either.
Yeah, certainly not. He's been trying. He's been putting in some qualifying laps. Unfortunately, looks like he's had a few offs in the process, so just can't quite get a clean one in that's fast enough for him. As we watch him work his way down towards the toe of the boot, the UK and I driver. A little bit late at night over there, but not too late, of course. Just getting to be in the evening, and that lap is definitely not going to count. That's going to be his last opportunity, as he has a problem down into that toe of the boot. So unfortunately, that looks like it's going to be it for him. We're going to let the clock time out, but we have a lot of drivers to go through, so we're going to have to go to the grid very soon here. Tim McIver, of course, running in 14th, going to try and finish his up. Nope, he is not, as the Australian pulls off to the side of the track.
Clark Williams here on screen, 21st position at the moment with a 1:42.0. But currently swinging through the S as he will not have another time to set another lap. Probably trying to one more time to really figure out how to take that carousel section as quick as possible, because it will be one of the key corners out there in the race.
And you can see the drivers can finish their hot lap. So I think Clark is going to get a chance to at least get across the line. But anybody who is now coming to the line will see the checkered flag, will not be able to complete any more than that. And actually, let me take a look to see who is coming to the line at the moment. Got a lot of cars still out there. Some of them higher up than others. As Santana and Giassi, we saw on screen, not going to be able to count that lap as they have an incident together in the final corner. The organizer of this event, one of the drivers still trying to get a time in, Luca Verani, he's coming down to the heel of the boot. He's sitting in 13th, which not too shabby right there as well. The number 222 showing that not just a great event organizer, as he used to run the SRF Big Grid race, but also a fast driver as well.
Yeah, well done from him so far. Looking a little bit forward, I think that most drivers have done their lap. Luca Verani is indeed still finishing it. Coming out of the last corner now.
Crosses the line, but he does improve, actually. Goes up to 11th. Nice job by Luca there. Last gasp effort to get himself up the order. Evan Emre, who we're used to seeing over in the Apex Online Racing Series. Used to running this car as well. Has a lot of experience in the Formula Renault. Currently sitting in 19th, so well into the top half of the field. And as he comes through, and that's not going to count. Most of our other drivers are down towards the end, so let's go through the grid while we've still got time. Up at the top, Uni Silvasti on the pole with Harrison Finch, going to try and give chase, completing row 1. Luis Tavares in 3rd with Charlie Summers starting next to him in 4th. Stefan Herman will begin in P5. P6 will be Dimitri Yanis, and then in 7th, you've got Angus Waddell. Jirdi Mojak will start in 8th, followed by Pedro Henrique in 9th, and João Oliveira starts in 10th.
Luca Ferrani, the league organizer, will start the race in P11 next to Lubomir Moric. Flavio Sartonino, the teammate of João Oliveira, starts next to Tim McIlliver. Glenn Key starts the race in 15th, and he starts next to Christoph Leister. Jeff Giassi starts in the inside of row 9 next to Christoph Amon. FR2 Imre, who we just saw his final lap in qualifying, starts in 19th, and he starts next to Alex Johnson in 20th.
Clark Williams will begin in P21, then Patrick Vartenberg in 22nd. Frank Mutz in 23rd will be followed by Tom Depke in P24. Then in the 25th spot, it'll be Mike Cannon at the start, followed by Christopher Rigby in 26th and Mario Pecci at 27th. John Robertson starts 28th. P29 goes to Andrea Pacetti, and then rounding out our top 30 with the top half of the field, Toby Bradwolf.
31st position, Giovanni Salito. Next to him starts Thomas Noll in 32nd. Derek Beetle starts in 33rd. Stuart Milne starts in position 34. Jean-François Mat starts behind him. David Santana starts on the outside of row 18, next to in front of Davide Solbiati. Tyler Butler starts in 38, in front of Michael Naser. And Paul Parashak starts in 40th position.
41st goes to Louis Zambelli, Jonathan Heimbach in 42nd, and Nicholas Laurito in 43rd. Then you jump back to 44th, and it's Borja Bueno, followed by Fabrizio Giorgini in 45th. Tim Phillips starts in 46th, and now we're starting to get around the corner of the track. Rick Hansen in 47th, Jason Wallet in 48th, and Jason Winger in 49th, with Tibor Wittmann starting in 50th.
And then there's a few drivers left who didn't manage to put in a qualifying time. Those people are Josh Lett, who starts in 51st, in front of Sergio Blasco, Lance Simon, Ben Summers, Richard Valley, Jose Carlos Campodonico, and Mark Cartier.
That is our 57 car field. I think we're going to get everybody lined up here, as I expect pretty much everyone who is logged in is still in and intending to race. Just look at the immense field out there. This is a long track, but that is a lot of cars. As we wait for the green flag to come out, lights are up, green is out, and as they get off the line, Silvasti looks pretty solid. So does Finch. Tavares trying to pull up to them, and as they come to turn one, they start to get single file.
Yeah, behind them everything looks good so far. No one, we see one car going off. That is Giovanni Salito, but I don't see big crashes in the backfield.
Nice clean start that we're getting so far with the cars. Up at the front, already a challenge for the lead. In fact, 3 wide for the lead on the very first lap, as Tavares decides he is not going to wait around. And he splits the middle. Can he keep it down into the carousel? Oh, they come together. All 3 lead cars, or at least 2 of the 3, go off on the first time around. That's going to leave, I believe that is Silvasti who survived that.
Going to a replay at the moment. You're indeed right. Silvasti is still in the lead. He's being put pressure on by Charlie Summers as we go to a replay of that crash that we saw, Joe.
It's always the risk that you run here at the start, trying to run that aggressive. Unfortunately for our second and third place drivers at the start, it basically sets the tone in a bad way. Up at the front, all we were on replay, the lead did go to Charlie Summers.
Charlie Summers, I don't know if it's the same on your screen, but on my screen has heavy damage. No front wing anymore.
I think we're seeing on the broadcast, it looks like on the director's screen, it is whole. Silvasti, though, going very slow. I think he does have damage, which is what's causing him all this pace. And he's got cars bottled up behind him, including Waddell, and he ducks off to get that repaired. Ball car heavy in the wall back there. Didn't quite catch who that is, though, unfortunately. Go ahead.
Yeah, Charlie Summers has increased his lead to 1.7 seconds over Dimitri Yanis, who went up from P6 to P2. It is being put under pressure by Angus Waddell, trying left and right in the SS section, already putting it side by side in the apex of the final SS corner. And now Angus Waddell won't have any draft going towards the carousel corner, and he's on the outside. He's slightly quicker. He's edging ever so closely. He's just able to brake a little bit later than Dimitri. He will get that P2 position. And the braking now, yeah, he makes it stick on the outside. Beautiful move from Angus Waddell there, who improves himself to the P2 position.
Behind, you can also see it's quite a pinata full of bees with Stefan Herman, Jiri Mojak, Pedro Henrique, Luca Verani, and João Oliveira all together. And that is basically going from 4th, I believe, down to 9th place, that these cars are all just tangled up.
Yeah, incredibly close so far between them. Now Harrison Finch was one of the drivers that was tangled in that in that incident with the 3 leaders. He has just left the session and has retired his car, so we won't see him back on the grid, on the track anymore today. But Dimitri Yanis, who just has lost that P2 position, is immediately putting pressure again on Angus Waddell. Angus Waddell goes wide and hits the wall.
Number of drivers having problems here. I expect the low downforce on this cars make it difficult as we go to check the replay on this. This is out of one of the more tricky corners, off camber in that turn 9. I've always had trouble in every car here in that turn, Johan.
Of the car gets a little bit loose when we try to put the throttle on there, and that just bit Angus Waddell there. Probably suffered a little bit of damage because of that contact, but he's still going on at the moment. He had a good run out of turn 1, way better than Dimitrianis, and even with that moment that he just had out of turn 9, he will be able to put another move on the P2 position of Dimitrianis. He's now really hanging on to his gearbox, enjoying the draft, getting way easy to the overdrive. Pops it on the inside and makes the move stick before they hit carousel, Joe.
Giannis has no answer, and he's going to have to slot in behind. Still side by side behind him, though. Mojak on the inside of Herman, and it's going to switch back in Herman's famous. Oh, and Morris has unfortunately had some issues into the carousel, caught the end of that there. Let's take a look exactly what happened on the replay. Looks like on the outside of 3 cars, a little bit of net code, unfortunately, sent him around. Thankfully, didn't hit the wall, though.
No, especially he can continue his way there, but indeed netcode that turned him around. Shame for Morris out there.
As we come back live, not missing anything up at the front. Charlie Summers now 2.6 seconds ahead of everybody else. I'm sure that's the way he'd like it while he doesn't have to deal with traffic. That's going to change soon enough as the race progresses. We're only on lap 3, about to hit lap 4. Somehow, despite that big clobber into the wall, I can't believe that Angus Waddell is holding on to this as well as he is.
Yeah, I would imagine when you hit the wall like that, you at least have some suspension damage. Well, if Angus Waddell has suspension damage, he's not showing any of it because his pace is good, although he's being put under pressure once again by Dimitri Yanis coming out of turn 1. I have the feeling that these drivers, if they continue like this, Joe, they will be changing positions every lap until the end at the carousel section.
Definitely one of those tracks where it is almost a draft strategy track, sometimes called the Talladega of road courses here at Watkins Glen, and you can see just how easily, once again, Yanis is able to slingshot by. And once again, we see that Waddell does not fight it. I think you're right. Those two just maybe letting that happen. Changing positions behind them between Henrique and Mojak. Henrique goes to 5th.
Joao Oliveira back in P8 and having a good battle with Luca Ferrari and Tom McIver behind him. It's a 3-car battle for the P7 position. Those 3 drivers have lost the draft a little bit, I think, to the people in front, to Jiri Mojak and Pedro Henrique. And they'll be fighting for the P7 position now.
Yeah, and I think battling back and forth is exactly what they don't want, knowing that the leaders continue to stretch away from them. When you have this many cars on track, it's really about keeping yourself focused on what you're doing instead of trying to worry about fighting another driver. As we come back onto the main course out of turn 9 here, you can see they've just started to separate from one another a little bit. So unless I think McIver gets a nice run on Oliveira on the front stretch, he's going to have to wait for a better opportunity, which possibly could come on the run to the carousel.
Yeah, that's probably the move where I would make it, Joe. You can make a run, of course, here into turn 1, which probably will lose a lot of time towards, in this case, Luca Ferrari. Is probably better to stay behind here, past Joao Oliveira out of the draft, and then try to immediately dive behind Luca Ferrari and even try to make it 2 positions in 1 go before the carousel corner. Tom McIver at the moment, as we said, so close in the SS section, Joe. It almost looked like he had to brake a little bit, or at least scrub off a little bit of that speed, or he would have run Joao over in the SS.
Look at all those cars flying down the backstretch. We're watching as well. Glenn Key behind them, along with Emre, having a nice little battle. But McIver, for now, going to stay behind Oliveira as we ride on board with Emre down into the chute. This onboard really gives you an idea of the drop in elevation. This just continues forever in this section of the course.
Our driver that we talked about a lot at the beginning of the broadcast, Gianni Silvasti, just made a move for another position up. At the moment, he's currently in P17, making up his way a little bit after he had some problems at the start.
That fresh car, obviously, the incredible pull that he put down is going to be helpful. That speed, trying to work his way forward. I think he can kiss the win goodbye, though, after that incident. That Hoisingveld car, unfortunately, might have to work more for a top 5, top 10, somewhere around there. Currently, he sits in 19th. Next on his list is Josh Ladd, but he's got about 2nd up to the car in P18. Oh, and Angus Waddell just set the fastest lap.
Yeah, I wanted to say that. Like, Angus Waddell and Dimitri Yanis were changing positions every lap on the back straight. And I was almost thinking like they are working together to maybe try and close the gap to Charlie Summers, who's currently 2.5 seconds in front of them. Angus Waddell setting the quickest lap, so surely it's working a little bit now. But Charlie Summers has caught traffic at the moment. He's right behind Mario Pesci. Mario, who's driving in P45 at the moment. And this will surely be interesting, Joe. Once these leaders will catch traffic, that will surely catch some of them out and increase or decrease those gaps between the 2 drivers.
And there's a good question for you, Johan. Put yourself in the driver's seat in Charlie Summers' cockpit as he approaches this first bit of traffic, and he's going to get around Mario Pesci. You've got a bit of a gap, you know, almost 3 seconds when this started to second place. Do you go aggressive because it's not comfortable enough of a gap, or do you try to take it easy just to preserve the car with all this traffic?
I mean, I would absolutely try to do it aggressive at the moment. In a 2.5 second gap to two drivers that are probably working together, that's not something I would be comfortable with. I would try to put to overtake these lapped cars as soon as possible, to put as much cars between me and P2 at this moment, so you have at least a buffer that you can play with and that you can use.
Well, he's taking care of one or two. Up next, going to be Paul Parashak. And speaking of cars a little bit farther back, remember we were talking about Silvasti and Ladd. Well, they've also caught up to Sergio Blasco. This is for 17th position as they work their way down the front stretch. Let's see what Silvasti does. Is he in a rush to try and move forward? Does he just want to try and salvage a race? He's waiting patiently, thinking maybe this backstretch, which you seem to favor as well, Johan. He's got a good run up the hill now.
Yeah, it's almost like he has too good of a run, because he's really in the gears of Jos Ladd now, and he has to scrub up some speed to not run Jos Ladd over. That will hurt him here, but now he has the double draft though. Ooh, he dives on the left. Now he can be boxed in if Jos Ladd doesn't play ball, but Jos Ladd knows that Jouni is quicker, dives in his draft, and Jouni makes it 2 for 1 as he puts the move on Sergio Blasco. Now I just want to put a little bit of emphasis on Sergio and Jos. They both started without a qualifying time. Sergio is currently in 18th position, starting from 52nd. Jos Ladd, who overtakes him, started in 51st. Both of these drivers have having a good run out there so far, really profiting from the mistakes that other drivers are making, and are currently comfortably running in the top 20 because of that.
We got a fierce battle going on towards the back between Christopher Rigby and David Santana. This is in 37th currently. Santana running that car number 34. Had a big move down into the 90. And they work their way up the hill. Let's see if Rigby can get him back here, as he was almost shoved out of the way into that right-hander. And here he goes as we ride on board with Santana, looking back at Rigby. Lets him have the inside. Can he maybe power around the banking of the carousel? They're still going to be side-by-side into the corner. And unfortunately, it looks like that shorter line is going to pay off for Rigby as he gets himself back into 37th.
Good battling down the field, but also still great battling at top of the field. Angus Weddell and Dimitri Yanis are very close together out of the SS section. Dimitri really into the draft now. Yeah, he seems comfortable there. Maybe bump drafting a little bit going on there.
Yeah, he's getting awful close to the back. I don't know if you can actually do that in these cars without damaging a bit of it. He backs off once they get to the braking zone. The other, well, no, I take that back. I was about to say something about fuel, but we have no pit stops in this race. So really, that would be not advantageous whatsoever for him to try and lift and save.
Still, that bump drafting that we saw there, I don't think I've ever seen from open wheel cars bump draft that much, as they are they're threading the needle between two lapped cars there.
Actually, Yanis almost lost it there through the toe of the boot. That lost him a ton of time. Now, I think he's close enough that the draft is going to bring him back into Waddell, but that could be opportunities missed.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. I don't know if Angus Waddell is liking this. Oh, as Angus Waddell has to avoid the spinning car of Marc Carpentier, who spins it in turn 9, and now he has a problem, because with all these cars passing by, when do you decide to drive backwards and take your car around?
Poor Mark, unfortunately, is spared from the cameras, as we aren't able to find him, but I can tell you he's only just now getting back onto the track. Actually, no, he's stuck on the curb. he's high-centered. Oh, gosh. So as we stay with Waddell, oh, there we go. I think we've got the replay of Mark. So, sorry, Mark, I guess... Oh, wait, no, we don't. So, sorry. We do. Never mind. There's a lot of cars on track. Our apologies. There we see. Not often you actually see this happen as low as center as iRacing cars are. I really rarely see them get stuck like that.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it as well. He at least uses a beautiful livery there of the 2009 Formula 1 Renault. But unfortunately got stuck there and had to tow. Now, of course, that cost Angus Waddell a little bit. He had to avoid the standing car, and his gap towards Charlie Summers, the P1 driver at the moment, was 3.6 seconds coming over the start-finish line last time around. So he lost over a second because he had to avoid that incident.
Shows you how important it is to keep your pace up and really gives credence to your approach there. Be aggressive with the traffic. Now, a little bit farther down in 6, Jiri Mojak, one of my favorite names in iRacing, if I'm honest, has been fending off Luca Verani here for 7th as they work their way back onto the main course. Now, they're coming up on some lap traffic as well. We've already seen that's come into play with some of our front runners and how you deal with that. Let's see if maybe Luca can use that to his advantage and set up a pick. Through the front stretch they come. Mojak might have a good opportunity if he could just duck into the inside of Hansen. As Hansen see him coming, he holds to the racing line. Mojak down to the inside, given plenty of room. Beautiful job there by Rick Hansen. Stay out of the way of the leaders.
Luca Ferrari now right behind him in the SS section. He probably will have a great run in the draft over the back straight to make that pass for P6. Catching up a little bit quickly to Jiri Mojak. But on the outside, you can see he has the overspeed, he has the overdrive, and he's able to make it stick before they even reach the carousel section.
Making it look easy for sure. I think we had a bit of a swap for a moment. Yanis was ahead of Waddell, but that of course has changed back with the draft yet again. Drivers just continuing to switch back and forth quite a bit. We've had a good battle behind this. As Waddell almost has a moment there and dips a little bit of the grass and actually gets slowed down by it. And there goes Yanis.
It almost seems like Waddell has the pace to maybe get P2, but he's making a little bit too many mistakes to really seal the deal and create a gap towards Dimitri to secure that P2 position, because this is already the second time we've seen him in the grass. Might also be that that contact that he had with the wall early in the race is affecting his handling a little bit. He keeps going on, and he's very close behind Dimitri Yanni still on the draft of his rival, and able to battle for that P2 position. And the battle you were talking about behind them, João Oliveira, behind João Glenn Key, and in front of them Tim McIver. They're very close together, 3 cars basically under a blanket. Christoph Leister was also close to them, but because of traffic he has dropped behind a little bit. These 3 drivers are currently battling for P8 in the tow of Luca Ferrani and Jiri Mojak, who are battling for P6.
You can see just how close it's getting between João and Glenn Key as he rides in the draft up in the tire tracks. Glenn's going to get a good shot. Oh, but he's got to switch sides very quickly. And unfortunately, that definitely ruined his momentum. So he decides to wait for another opportunity. Still pokes his nose in. Lets João know that he's there. And again, João, one of our drivers, working with a special wheel set that has paddles to allow him to use his hands for the gas and brake. Going around the outside, trying it the hard way, is Glenn Key through the chute. Still can't get it done, but that was a valiant effort.
Great racing there for the top 7 position. Now behind them, Juni Silvasti just made a move on 2 drivers. He overtook Lubomir Moric and Patrick Wartenberg to get a P14 position. When we caught him a few laps ago, Joe, he was all the way down in P19. He's already made up 5 extra positions. If he keeps this up, he'll have some disaster at the beginning of the race, but he'll be able to bring it home in the top 10.
Here's hoping for that bright red car that he can try and do something with this. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the Formula Giving race for Vimala. We are raising money for the Vimala Center in Mumbai. If you have anything that you could spare, please consider clicking on the PayPal link there in the video description down below and donating some money to help some children that could really use it over in India. We'll watch Charlie Summers, still our leader, now 4.9 seconds ahead of Waddell.
Yeah, Charlie Summers, now he has like almost a 5-second gap. And you asked me earlier, Joe, like, what do you do? How will you treat traffic? I think this is the time that you probably think like, okay, now I have 15 laps to go. I have a 5-second lead to the drivers behind me. Now I can take a little bit more care, really preserve my race, but still try not to be stuck too much behind that lap traffic. But I think that Charlie Summers, with every lap that keeps going on and every lap that he can increase that lead bit by bit, he will feel calmer and calmer and more secure of himself, that he'll be able to bring his car home in that P1 position he's currently in.
Yeah, takes another car, Lance Simon, as he puts him a lap down. Tell you what, Christopher Leister in a nice little battle here back in 12th, number 28 behind Clark Williams. But he's more worried about what's in his mirrors. Or excuse me, no, I was reversing the cars there. It's Williams. Oh, coming up on some traffic. Oh, my goodness. Jose there slowing down a little bit early, but thankfully everybody through fine. Williams, though, as he is a little bit safer now that they are through that traffic, can, in fact, focus ahead on Oliviera. Remember, we were watching Oliviera on key just a moment ago. In fact, they're pretty much all in a train that goes all the way up to 8th with MacGyver, you can see there.
A little bit down in P14, however, Juni Silvasti is putting the move on Evan RT Imre down into turn 1. He has been setting that move up for the last few corners while also trying to pass a little bit of traffic at the same time. But he makes it stack and he elevates himself to the P13 position. Now he's only a few seconds, just a little bit under 3 seconds behind Christoph Leister. With the pace he currently running, I think that within too long, we see Christoph Leister being put under pressure by Silvasti for P12.
All right, so give me a prediction here, Johan. You've got the pole sitter who had 2/10 over the nearest car trying to come through. Where do you think he can wind up?
Oh, it's difficult. Looking at his qualifying times, he did a 1:45. He's able to maybe drive 1:40s. Looking at the pace that Christoph Leister is doing 42s. I think that Juni Silvasti, probably P8 position. That should be possible for Juni, I think. At the moment, he will have to pass several drivers in front of them. Christopher Leister, Clark Williams, and Joao Oliveira are in a heavy battle with each other for the P10 position, coming up to some traffic. Tim MacIver as well, he's having difficulty passing Lance Simon, and that gives opportunity to Glenn Kay to get really close into turn 9. Not able to make it stick yet, but Glenn Kay is really into his gearbox now. 2 corners before the start-finish line. There's maybe a place where you can try and overtake. Maybe not the most optimal one, but you can try it. He has to have a good run out of the last corner though. Not too shabby, he's right in the gearbox, he's drafting closer. Not close enough probably to try a simple move. He's taking a look out inside though. He brakes a little bit earlier, not wanting to go side by side through turn 1. But he's still behind him, Clanky, still in the draft into the gearbox of Tim MacIver. Trying it. Tim MacIver defending the inside, Glenky trying it on the outside, side by side, going to the carousel corner. Can he try it this time? He's not able to brake later. He has to dive behind him again as they go down the chute, trying to cut back maybe a little bit, but not able to make it stick. He probably has to getting really close there once they try to brake going into the boot section, but not able to make it stick so far. A P2 battle is still going on. Angus Weddell and Dimitri Yanis were battling heavily with each other at the beginning of the race. Well, good news, they're still battling heavily with each other at the moment, swapping positions basically every lap. Coming at the moment onto the traffic of Davide Solbiati, who is currently down 1 lap down in P33. Dimitri Yanis a few tenths behind Waddell, trying to line himself up for another move on the back straight for that P2 position. And behind him, Stefan Herman has had a quiet race, I think. He's currently a little bit over under 2 seconds behind the 2 podium positions in front of him. Last time around, Dimitri Yanis did a 42 flat. Stefan Harmon did a 41.6, so he is able to catch up a little bit to those 2 podium positions. but not enough yet to really enjoy the draft. The P2 battle heats up once more, and there's Waddell under pressure. But once again, like we saw earlier, just bump drafting, like they don't want to make overtakes every single time. Dimitrianis is happy to stay in P3 for now. Just bump draft a little bit with Angus Waddell and stay there for the time being. The bump drafting... we're seeing a heavy battle as well in P6. Yuri Morjak on the inside of the carousel. Now the outside going into the boot section with Luca Ferrani. Luca Ferrani having the inside. A little bit loose on the throttle, but makes that move for P6 stick. Yuri Morjak immediately looking on the inside again. Oh, he makes it stick. Immediately diving it on the inside. Luca Ferrani has no answer to him at the moment. This battle cost them a little bit of time though. They're currently over 2 seconds behind Pedro Henrique. Henrique that made a move a few laps ago at the beginning of the race. In P5 at the moment, driving away from these two drivers. But Jerry and Luca able to also create a gap at the same time to P8 Tim McIver. Not having to worry to look at these, not having to worry too much about the cars behind. If we go down a little bit more, Gianni Silvestri, we were talking about him a little bit earlier. When will he be able to catch the back of Christoph Leester? Well, he already did. He already passed the driver, and the Finnish driver is also putting a move at the moment on Joao Oliveira. So Silvestri is back in the P10 position. Not that far behind Clark Williams as well. Clark Williams who's battling heavily with Glenn Key and Tim McIver. Let's stay on these drivers for now. Clark Williams trying on the outside. He had a little bit of draft, but Glenn Key was in the gearbox of Tim McIver, so he has the overdraft. Glenn Key trying on the outside. Tim McIver defending the inside. Side by side going through the carousel. Glenn Key able to take a little bit more speed and makes it stick because of that. The next corner is to the left, so he will have the inside and he will have to make that move for P8. Clark Williams behind him immediately feels the pressure. That's Joao Oliveira immediately feeling the pressure of Silvestri. Silvestri driving it on the inside, almost making it 2 in 1 corner. That's the setup for 1 for now. Silvestri back to his P11 position. Great battle going here. We see Tim McIver going a little bit wide there in the last corner of the boot on the run to turn 9. He's losing a little bit of time because of that to Glenn Key, and that causes Clark Williams to catch up immediately. And these drivers, of course, will see Juni Silvestri behind him. They will see the Finnish driver getting closer and closer to them. And they know that they have to give it everything they got to stay in front of the Finnish driver. One more time, this is the place where Silvestri made a move last time around to win the position on Joao Oliveira. This time he elects to stay behind in turn 1-4 now, behind Clark Williams to make a move on the back straight. Going towards the S's, that's always we go to P3 for the moment. Angus Waddell, this time no bump drafting. Dimitrianis this time chooses to make it. Oh, sorry, Herman. Oh, we were talking about him a little while ago. He has caught up to the 2 battling drivers on the last 2 steps of the podium. Herman has overtaken Angus Waddell. As we see, Clark Williams, who was in that battle for P8, has spun it around in the SS, and he got a little bit of help from Juni Silvestri in the SS there. As you can see here on screen. Turned around and in that part of the track, there's nothing you can do to catch that car. Go on board with Silvestri at the moment now as the incident happened. You can see the green and black car of Williams in front of him. You just hear a slight tap on the left rear of that Formula Renault. It just sends it across, spinning against the wall. Now Clark Williams is currently still driving though. I don't know really where he is at the moment. He's currently P18. I think that Clark Williams will look at the amount of oversteers. He goes over the grass. Oh yeah, he bends it. You could see that the car was just handling so poorly after that contact in the SS. And he's towed the car back to the pits now. That's his battle over for that great P10 position that he was in. But at the moment, as we see Charlie Summers, he's enjoying the battle with 10 laps to go, with Stefan Herman really mixing it in with Dimitri Yanis and Angus Weddell for the final two podium positions. 5 seconds between him and the P2 position. Battle for P3 at the moment. Stefan Herman being put under pressure by Angus Weddell. Dimitri Yanis trying to help Stefan Herman by moving all the way over to the right and maybe giving him a little bit of draft. Not enough though. Angus Weddell able to make the move on the outside, make it stick, moves himself back to P3. Dimitrian is liking this though. He's driving away from those two rivals that are fighting for the P3 position. Although I have to say Angus Weddell is catching up a little bit, and I have to also say I am surprised with how good his car is handling after that contact he had earlier in the race. I don't know if he suffered some damage because of that, but he's still driving his car superbly well out there in that battle for P3. Another battle we were talking about a little while ago was the battle between Jiri Modjak and Luca Ferrani. Luca Ferrani currently in P6. Also, these drivers are still swapping positions every lap around. At the moment, Ferrani with having a slightly loose turn 9 there. That causes Modjak to catch up a little bit as they go to the last corner on the rundown over the start-finish line. With 9 more laps to go, these drivers will have a few more attempts to really make that stick. But you have seen that both Ferrani and Modjak are not able to create a gap once they are in front of their rival. I think that this battle will go down until the end of the race. We'll just follow it over the back straight one more time. Here in Modjak, he has the draft in the SS. He's edging ever so closely towards the back of Ferrani there. He's still a little bit far away, but that draft at this moment will get stronger and stronger how closer you get to the rear of that other Formula Renault. Luca Ferrani not defending the inside, Modjak as well, not even probably lifting a little bit, not wanting to put it side by side at the moment through the carousel. They stay in position one more time. Now behind them, Silvestri makes the overtake stick on Glenn Kay. He has been slicing through the field at the moment. Also, Glenn Key is having a good run in the last lap so far. He's created a nice sizable gap to Tim McIver, who's currently running in P10. But Silvestri doing well so far in P8, and with only a few seconds, 3 seconds behind Luca Ferrani and Jiri Modjak, I think the Finnish driver isn't done yet with making overtakes out there today. As we see Luis Sambelli, the current driver in P42 in the wall. He had some trouble in turn 9, just in front of the P2, P3, P4 battle. He loops it around though one more time and gets his car rolling. Now we see Stefan Herman has lost a little bit of track position to the other podium drivers. Angus Weddell putting pressure on Dimitri Yanis one more time. 8 laps to go, going through the S's at the moment. Just a quick update, Stefan Herman is over 2 seconds behind him. He probably had some trouble last time around, but he has done it once to make up the 2-second gap. Maybe he can do it one more time again. Angus Weddell in the meantime sizing up Dimitri Yanis, who defends the inside, but that draft is so strong on the back straight here. Angus Weddell trying it on the outside, make that move stick for that P2 position. In the meantime, the gap between Dimitri Yanis and Charlie Summer has decreased to only 4 seconds between the leader and the P2 positions. Now that's a decrease of almost a second since the last time we spoke about it. I don't think that it's enough for this P2 and P3 drivers to really make a move for the lead before the end of the race. But still, Charlie Summers, as Angus Weddell goes very wide there in the boot section. One more time, as we go to a replay, I see, he once again he hits the wall, and just as we saw in turn 9 earlier in the race. As we see in the replay now, you can see him just understeer off the track, and once you hit that grass, there's no escaping from it. He bounces, and great avoidance as well from Dimitri Yanis to immediately dive to the right side of the track to avoid his car of Angus Weddell. But that's not helping Weddell's chances for podium position. And look at the gap in front of him. Immediately 1.5 seconds between him and Yanis at the moment, between himself and the Central European driver. And with 2 times that Angus Riddell has hit the walls out there today, I think that his car surely has to have some damage now. But he's still going strong. Stefan Herman behind him in that P4 position has 1.2 seconds behind him, making up that gap. Luca Ferrani and Jiro Mojak, that was a 2-car battle for P6, or at the moment it's a 3-car battle. Juni Silvasti has made up a lot of time and is putting the pressure right now on Jiri Mojak on the inside, side by side through the S's. He makes it stick, but Jiri Mojak is in the draft. No, Luca Ferrani moves to the left. Luca Ferrani opts to give Silvasti a little bit of draft on the back straight there. Silvasti makes it stick and moves himself up to P7. Now what a move, one more time. We've said it a few times before, but Silvasti is on fire out there. He of course was the person that put his car on pole position, over a tenth quicker than the rest of the field. And after his troubles in the beginning parts of the race, he's really put everything out there today to move his way up the field one more time. Thibaut Whitman was the red car that you saw going off the track there in P29. That caused Silvasti to move a little bit, swerve a little bit, but he managed to avoid him. Look how close Silvasti is to Luca Ferrani at the moment. Now, and I have to say, these two cars, Luca Ferrani and Silvasti, are only 4 seconds behind Pedro Henrique. Henrique, who had a quiet race so far until now, driving in P5, he's 6 seconds behind Stefan Herman and several seconds in front of this battle for P6. But once Silvasti gets past them, I think that Henrique will be put under pressure as well. Silvasti over the start-finish line, not making a move yet on Luca Ferrani. Setting himself up one more time through the SS. He'll probably try it one more time on top of this corner combination. Diving a little bit out of the draft to make sure that he doesn't hit the Italian driver before he can pass him. But as I said, diving here on the outside, making the move stick. Now he probably has enough speed to seal that deal before they hit the carousel section. In front of them, there's a battle going on for P29. That's between Tim Phillips and Christoph Ehman. Both drivers are 1 lap down. The first driver's 1 lap down at the moment. Might be a little bit difficult to for Silvasti, Mojak and Ferrani to pass this battle, of course, with several cars that are left. Joe.
Yes, I'm here. Apologies for the bit of an absence, but now that we've caught back up as we continue to see Silvasti make his progress forward, good to see that he has not let any sort of internet problems slow him down all the way up to 6. This is incredible stuff. Has already disposed of Varani and Mojak with ease. So 6 laps to go. It's starting to come down to the end of it. Charlie Summers still your leader at 2.6 seconds over Dimitri Yanis, which is impressive, but still obviously not completely safe, as any one mistake or any little bit of traffic could bring them close back together.
Yeah, Charlie. Oh, Waddell is having trouble. Oh, he crashed in turn 1. That is with Jose Carlos Compo. Yeah, well, I saw Jose just before that trying to defend a move to Dimitri Yanis. But yeah, not having an eye on the people behind him. Oh, this heartbreak for Angus Waddell, who of course hit the wall twice already, but was still going strong for a podium position. At the moment, he's retired his car as well. He's out of the service, and that will elevate Stefan Herman to a podium position.
Yeah, Herman been running a nice job this race, having qualified in 5th and having promoted himself 2 spots. Right now, I think he's probably very content to try and ride this out with nobody around. He's got 6 seconds back to Henrique at the moment.
Just really quickly, I want to mention Charlie Summers had a very slow lap last time around, a 1:43.3. He lost over a second to P2 Dimitri Yanis, and at the moment, yeah, there's only 2.9 seconds behind him. If Charlie Summers keeps slowing down like this, it probably was because of traffic that he lost a little bit of time. But if he continues like this, we will see a battle for the lead before the race is over.
One driver who's been a little feisty today, João Oliveira, on the back of Christoph Leister right now. This is for 11th as they go by a car off track. That was just Michael Naser, one of the back markers. getting out of the way. In fact, they've got more cars trying to stay out of the way. The car that just got hit by Waddell, Jose Campodonicho, is unfortunately the next up on their list. Let's see what happens with this one. Hopefully Jose learned a little bit about dealing with the traffic from the last incident. Pulls by the side, but not before slowing up Christoph just a little bit. Here comes Oliveira with a good run down the front stretch. Is he going to poke his nose to the inside? Decides to wait for it. Knows that that draft on the backstretch is a much easier pass for him. Sets him up. Good run off the corner. This is going to look like a slam dunk to me.
Yeah, this will be an easy move for him in the draft. Maybe they will elect a bump draft like we saw in the battle for P2, but with only 4 laps to go, this is not the time where you bump draft. This is a time where you make passes. Joao Oliveira is trying so on the outside. He's having more speed than Christoph at the moment, and he is able to... Ooh, no. Joao Oliveira is actually slowing down a little bit. He doesn't want to make that move yet, it seems like, Joe.
Maybe he's thinking there's nobody close enough ahead of him. No point in fighting. Just wait it out and see if he could pull a tricky pass at the last lap here. We'll have to wait and see what exactly Joao has up his sleeve. For now, he's content to sit in 12th position.
Well, someone who was further down the field but has been making giant leaps at the moment, Gianni Silvasti, currently driving in P5 because of the retirement of Angus Waddell. We were wondering if he could catch up to Pedro Henrique. Well, he caught up to Pedro Henrique. The gap is under 1 second at the moment. Silvasti did a 1:46 last time around, less than a half a tenth slower than his qualifying lap. He's having such a pace right now, Joe, right on the back of Pedro Henrique going to the last corner.
I just can't believe that the amount of cars that he has come through to try and get this far up. Like you said, with only 3 to go, this is probably going to be the last one that he can overtake, because the next car ahead of Pedro, 7 seconds up the road. His progress most likely going to halt at P4. He's got to run down the backstretch through the S's. We've seen this a million times this race. You're going to see it 1,000,001 now as he goes around the outside. That red car takes over 4th.
Yeah, this is, as you say, Joe, this is probably the last move that you'll see by Silvasti for the rest of the race. But you never know, because we have seen several things happen, and the venom is in the tail, so to speak. It will be a few laps before it's over. Charlie Summers, we saw Dimitri Yanis catching up a little bit, but that momentum has halted at the moment. The gap 2.8 seconds. Yanis won a 10th last time around. That's not enough with only 3 laps to go to really seal the deal.
Tell you what, the battle for 9th starting to heat up a little bit. Tim McIver and Lubomir Morris coming together for that one as they come off the toe of the boot. And actually, Lubomir with a great run. Tim holds the racing line. Is he just going to let him through here? Doesn't seem really interested in trying to go defensive. So whatever Tim has going for him, he's only got 3 laps to implement it. But if anybody can do it on just a shoestring and a rubber band, I'm sure McIver can.
Exactly. Well, we were talking about, of course, how much draft there is on that back straights, and it might actually be a little bit of strategy that the drivers are thinking about now. Because if you manage to position yourself right behind one other driver with 1 more lap to go, you will be the driver who can profit from huge amounts of draft on the back straight, trying to make a pass. So it might be beneficial to, for now, hang back a little bit so you can profit from that in the last lap.
I think you're right. I think it's exactly what he's probably scheming here as they climb up the hill. Now he's got to get a little bit closer than this, though. He is going to get the toe, and I think he was right exactly about where he needs to be as it starts to come into greater and greater effect. The closer he gets, the momentum is building, slingshotting up around the outside. Tim's going to have to go the hard way around. Can Lubomir hold him off for now? Yes, he does. So Tim's got to try to get himself a better run off the 90 if he wants to pull that move off.
I think he will suddenly have that better run when there's 1 more lap to go, because I have the feeling that Tim might have slowed down a little bit on purpose there to stay behind Moritz for now. Well, we go almost to,
yeah, going to come out here in just moments as Summers comes through Indianapolis and up to the final turn. This has been a relatively quiet race for Charlie Summers. He may have inherited a few things along the way going from 4th to 1st, but he has made good of the opportunity now that it is within his hands. Only back markers can stop him now.
Yeah, exactly, because that gap to Dimitri Yanis, he was 2.8 seconds last time around. It has increased to 3.1 seconds. Dimitri Yanis, who probably won't be able to look forward at the moment, he has to look backwards, because a little bit over a second, it's Stefan Herman. With one more lap to go, Stefan will be hoping to close that gap, try to enjoy a little bit of draft to swing by for the P2 position.
We're watching that fight for 9th spot, Morris and MacGyver. MacGyver not all that much closer this time. I don't know. I think he may have missed a trick here. Let's see what Tim gets as they climb up the hill towards the backstretch. He's starting to gain a little bit. This is looking like too little too late.
Yeah, exactly. Tim MacGyver, who went a little bit too wide in turn 1 and lost a lot of time there. And there goes your plan to try to move in the last lap. Because as you can see, you just had too little draft to make that move stick.
Sometimes trying to be sneaky can bite you. So as we watch our leader, Charlie Summers, work his way around the heel of the boot, 3 more corners to go. The difficult turn 9 as a lapped car moves out of the way for him, gives him plenty of berth. He's got that 4-second lead, does not really need to push the issue at all. Through Indianapolis, the bank sweeper, and into the final corner, the street course-like last turn. Up to the line, your winner here in the race for Vimala is going to be Charlie Summers.
When Dimitri Yanis comes home in P2, he managed to fend off Stefan Herman, who's toying with a little bit of traffic while he comes over the line. Stefan Herman coming home in 3rd.
How about Luca Villani? Started this race in 11th. He's going to get a 6th place finish. That is a fantastic effort. Behind him, Jiri Mojak improving 1 spot up to 7th place. Very hard to get good results in a field this deep.
But looking at a good result, how about Sergio Blasco coming over the line now, coming home in P13. Where did he start? He started all the way down in 52nd. The driver made up 39 positions. Now, if that is not a hard charger, I don't know what is. Well done, Sergio.
Wow. Wartenberg behind him, taking a nice 14th from 22nd. Starting to see some drivers here making up some good positions in the mid-pack as well. Imre's going to get 15th. And I think we're just about to the cars a lap down. In fact, the last one on the lead lap going to be Stuart Milne in 18th. With that, we're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll come back with some prizes to be awarded. Again, remember there's some cash and credits and various things that drivers will get to win today. So stick around to see who gets what. And also don't forget that donate button down in the video description. We'll be back on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Welcome back to Watkins Glen International. We just watched the Formula Giving race for Vimala. This charity event has raised a lot of money. We could still raise more if you're willing to help donate. The link again to that PayPal is in the video description. But we had a race here. We should talk about that. The winner of that, a bit of a surprise. We thought that it was going to be a romp for our pole sitter. Not the case. Fourth place on the grid for Charlie Summers takes him up to first after the top three cars come together. Dmitry Yanis is going to take second, with Stefan Herman finishing in third. Yuni Silvasti takes home fourth place after starting on the pole. I think that's pretty good recovery that we can respect. Pedro Enrique gets a top five, with Luca Villani behind him in a sixth. Jerry Mojak takes home seventh, with Glenn Key in eighth and Lubomir Morris in ninth. Rounding out the top 10 is Tim McIver.
E11 comes home. Christoph Leicester, who had a great battle basically all the race long with, one of them was João Oliveira. Sergio Blasco, the hard charger of today, coming home in 13th position in front of Patrick Wartenberg. FR2 Imre comes home in 15th in front of Mike Cannon. Tom Debke finishes in 17th, and he finishes in front of Stuart Milne. Now another hard charger all the way starting in 51st position. Josh Ladd comes home in 19th position, and he finishes in front of Toby Bradwolf.
Obviously some celebrations are happening out in the parking lot there that you can hear. Jason Winger in 21st, Borja Bueno in 22nd. Then in 23rd, we've got Giovanni Solito, followed by Jason Wallet with a nice run from 48th to 24th. Really good run. Christopher Rigby gets a 25th spot, with Christoph Amon coming home 26th. Tim Phillips finishes in 27th, followed by Michael Naser in 28th. David Solbiati will come home in 29th, and P30 goes to Derek Beatty.
31st position is for Tibor Wittmann, who finishes in front of Nicolas Laurito. Jean-Francois Macchi comes home in 33rd position in front of Fabrizio Giorgini. Lance Simon finishes in 35th in front of Luis Sambelli. Jose Carlos Campodonico comes home in 37th in front of Mario Pesci. Richard Valley comes home in 39th, and John Robertson finishes in 40th position.
And when we go to 41st, we've got Frank Mutza. He's followed by Angus Waddell. Man, disappointed there. He was looking at a podium all the way up to the dying stages and gets 42nd. Paul Parashak behind him in 43rd. Jonathan Heimbach finishes in 44th. You go to P45, you've got Marc Charpentier, followed by Rick Hansen in 46th, Clark Williams in 47th, and David Santana in 48th. In the 49th spot, Andrea Bacchetti, and then Ben Subbers finishes in the magic number 50.
And the final drivers classified out there, Thomas Knoll coming home in 51st, just in front of Alex Johnson. Flavio Saturnino didn't finish the race, but is classified as 53rd. Jeff Giassi is one position down in 54th, just in front of Luis Felipe Tavares. And the last two drivers are Harrison Finch and Tyler Butler.
Sad to see Tyler not be able to capitalize on that front row start. Now, we mentioned there's prizes that we're going to be handing out. Of course, I believe, are we starting with the biggest one or the littlest one? Let's see. Big one. Let's go with the big stuff first. Let's get those out of the way, make somebody very happy. So this is in the top 10. I believe we are handing away $70 right here. That's a nice little chunk of change. I can buy you quite a few things. So let's spin the wheel and see who takes away $70 in iRacing credits. It is Giannis in second place. So congratulations to Giannis to getting $70 in cash. One more time. Go ahead.
Yeah, we also have another prize for people that finished in the top 10. This one is a little bit less. It's $60. As we spin the wheel, we'll see which of the top 10 drivers comes home with $60. It is Luca Ferrani.
Not sure how that works. He might defer that and donate that himself. We're going to go to prize awarded for between 11th and 20th. Another $60 prize here. Let's spin that wheel, see who is going to get that in the second group of 10. First prize goes to 16th. Cannon, all right. He's going to take home a nice $60. Then we have another one in this group, this time $50, just $10 less. Again, I don't know about you, Johan, but this is a lot of money I would like to have. 12th place for that. Joao Oliveira. All right, glad to see him get some money. He put in a good drive out there. What do we have up next here, Johan?
Well, we have another prize, and this is for P21 to P30. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. I think that's $50 as well.
That's correct.
As we go spinning one more time, let's see which of those drivers in P21 to P30 comes home with $50. It is 30. That's Derek Beatty coming home with $50. Not too shabby. That's a lot of iRacing tracks or something that you can purchase with that.
Get all the rallycross cars and everything. We're going to do one more. This one also for that 21 to 30. This is again $50 that we are giving away. Let's see. In 22nd is
Bueno.
All right, Bueno gets some. So we are going to jump down a little bit farther now that we're through for those next 10 drivers. 31st through 40th, I believe, is the next one. And this one is again $50 that we are going to award. Let's spin that wheel.
Turning. Several good drivers who finished in there, but the driver that goes home with it is the driver in P33, Jean-Francois Machi, bringing home $50 after. That's not too shabby for a Sunday evening race.
Yeah, and now we're going to duck under half $100 here. $40 for this next one, once again in the 31 through 40 range. Let's see what we've got here. 37th, that is going to go to Jose Carlos Campodonicho. Hopefully that's a little bit of compensation for getting into trouble with one of the top runners there. That'll make him feel better, I think, after the race. I believe we are going through 41 through 50 next. Is that correct, Director? Yes, it is indeed. Let's spin the wheel. And again, this is so that all drivers get an opportunity no matter where they finish. Number 49, gonna be Andrea Betretti. He gets a cool $40 in his pocket. One last one that we're gonna spin for. This is 51 through 60, I understand. Is it? Nope, maybe not. Nope, we're doing the 41 through 50 again. Yes, there we go. 41 through 50 again. And this is another $40 prize, if I'm not mistaken. Number 44 is going to be Jonathan Heimbach, takes home $40.
Yeah, now the last two will be 51 to 60. Well, luckily for these people, there's a little bit of a bigger chance winning because we don't have the full 60 drivers. How much is this, Joe, exactly?
Need to check the info here. I don't have it right in front of me.
What I do know is that Jeff Giassi is the one that comes home with this prize.
Excuse me, Tyler Butler, we understand, is going to get that one. All right, one more time. And number 51, going to go to Thomas Knoll. They're in 51st position. And I believe that is the last of our prizes. We're just in case going to re-roll for Luca to see if maybe he was ineligible for that prize. So in case he is not eligible, let's see who gets it for the top 10. And our winner, Charlie Summers. All right. Not a bad day for him. Takes home some money, takes home a win. He's got to be pretty pleased with that. Oh, excuse me, that 7th?
Yeah, 7th. Sorry, that's Jiri Mojak.
Sorry, Jiri Mojak. I thought it said 1 on there. My apologies. So with that, I believe that's all of our prizes now. I do believe we have our winner waiting for us to talk to him. Let's pull Charlie Summers in, talk to him about this race, especially that first lap. Charlie, congratulations. You're heading up to the carousel. You see the leaders get 3 wide. You're starting to lick your chops a bit?
Now, if I'm honest, let's say this was me about a year ago, I would have been right up there with them. And then I would have been right off in the barrier with them as well. I took the wise move. It was 27 laps to go. It wasn't worth it. I took the move to back out, have another go. The draft's so heavy at Watkins Glen, I knew I could get another chance. But yeah, I didn't see that coming, I have to say.
I think a lot of people didn't see that coming. Now, the rest of the race, you held at least a little bit of a gap. You had some clearing, but it wasn't very comfortable. Was that really making you push the whole way, especially when it came to traffic?
Yeah, so I was definitely trying to give it a decent amount of push. I had put a bit too much fuel in. I finished with about a gallon spare, so I was a little bit heavy down the straights through the corners, but it felt pretty good. I was starting to lose the rear a little bit through the faster stuff right at the end, but for the most part, the car felt good today. But yeah, I definitely had to keep pushing to keep Dimitri behind me.
Now, obviously, you have quite a bit of experience in the Formula Renault, running in the AOR Formula Renault series that we covered at one time. Did that really help you in preparing for this, and as well as racing out there compared to some of the other drivers?
Yeah, I would say it definitely assisted me. So there are quite a few of the top guys, Harrison, Stefan, Junie, but that was before I was in the AOR. All came through the same series, so we're all fairly... we all know each other, and sort of we know how hard we can push each other. Unfortunately, Luis had a little bit of a go, but yeah, that didn't tend to work out. But yeah, I'd say it definitely helped out. The competition's so fierce there, it means that you have to be pushing 100% all the time in order to keep people behind.
Well, I'd say that pushing really upped your game today as you took home the top spot. Congratulations.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much.
Charlie Summers, our winner here today in the Formula Giving Race for Vimala. Up next, Johan's going to be talking to Evan Emre.
Evan Emre, welcome. Good that you join us in the booth. You finished out there P15, but in a field with almost 60 drivers. That's a pretty good race. How was it out there for you today?
It was okay to begin with. I mean, I started 20th, didn't make the most out of qualifying. I was up to 13th after the first lap, and I was hanging on to the top 10. And then when I got overtaken by a couple of cars, it just like felt, it started understeering more, and I just dropped off the pack. It was really weird. And then eventually Patrick and Sergio, I think, overtook me. So I just ended up finishing 15th. Kind of backed off a bit, hoping to get into this draw for the 0x prize, but 15th, I suppose it's all right in the grand scheme of things with 57 drivers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's at least far in the top half, so that's at least well done. Now you mentioned that you're start to understeer a little. Do you have any idea what caused that? Was it like a wrong setup, or maybe like overheating of the tires, or maybe some damage?
Yeah, I think it was overheating of the tires, because we were driving for 27 laps in a row, and you had to start with 8.6 gallons, which is unheard of in this car, nearly. So it was bound to be tricky to start, but I seemed to be doing better at the start than a lot of people. But yeah, it just fell away for me somehow.
Well, at least you made up 4 positions in the end. One thing that we saw a lot on, of course, with a field like this is traffic. You have a lot of cars that are several laps down. How difficult was it for your point of view out there today? Because you all the time had like your own battles to worry about, but you also had traffic that had their own battles. Was it difficult to pass them?
Yeah, I actually got really annoyed behind a couple of lapped cars. I kind of lost a couple of seconds overall, and that kind of dropped off the top 10. That was kind of part of the reason. And because driver chat was disabled, you couldn't come in the chat and say blue flags, whatever. So they were a couple of people were clueless as to what was going on around them. So yeah, that was one factor.
Well, you just mentioned that Zero X prize that you went for. Did you actually manage to get the Zero X at the
No,
end of
that's
the
going
race?
to be. Yeah, I got 0x in the end. Yeah, that draw will be done later, I think.
Well, fingers crossed for that one. At least you finished P15 out there. You made up some positions. You finished strong in the top 20. So that's a good Sunday night, I presume.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah. I just want to say good to be back on GSRC after the AOR league left you. I really miss commentators like Bill and Soup, but yeah, good to be back on the channel, and maybe we'll see you for week 13 next time as well.
Well, surely. Well, we all try to be as good as Bill is, of course, but at least good to have you around once again, Evan, and congratulations with P15 out there today.
Thank you.
Joe, in the meantime, you have caught up with our organizer today.
Indeed, we have. Luca Verani joins us in the booth after putting on a fantastic event, has helped raise a lot of money for the Vimala Center. And Luca, I understand you're a lot more intimate with this cause. I was, doing all the research that I could and looking into it, and I really support this a whole lot. This is a fantastic effort for these kids over in Mumbai. What do you think people need to know about the Vimala Center and what it's doing for these children?
Thank you, guys. First of all, thank you for the broadcast. I'm sure it's been a great one, as you always do. Now, let's talk about the charity a little bit. My wife travels to India for work reason about once every couple of years. And in Mumbai, she actually ran into this nun, Swarbertilla, who travels around the slums of Mumbai with her bicycle. And she goes around curing people from leprosy. She has been doing this for about 50 years or something like that. It's really quite a great person. Then what she does is that she takes the kids in the slum, either orphans or sons of people with leprosy, and she brings them in her shelter, hospital, I'm not so sure how to call it in English. And there she gives them food, accommodation, and above all, an education. Now, there is a kid, for instance, that went straight from the slum to university. She just graduated last year. That's quite an achievement, and that's quite an impact to have on these people. Now, the cost for all this is about 600 euros per year per kid. And it's not easy for them to find this kind of money. So that's why we decided to do this charity. We got a lot of support. I guess you thanked the sponsor already, but quickly let me go through them. Lions Club Monteceneri donated some money. Then we have, of course, the drivers. Thanks to all the people who donated, we are up to about 800 euros so far, and please keep giving. iRacing donated $1,000 in credits. 500 went as cash prizes to the drivers. Thank you for doing the draw. And another 500 are a direct donation. Then we have Virtual Racing School, VRS. They donated up to $600 in matching fund. And finally, Erzingfeld Engineering donated a very, very nice set of pedals. They're called HE Sim Pedals Pro. They're worth about 700 euros. They donated them for free. They have been put out on auction. All the money from the auctions will go directly to the charity in Mumbai. So, well, if you have any question, please tell me. And sorry for speaking so much.
Oh, no. That don't need to apologize at all. This is all great stuff about this cause, and really gives even more background about why this Vimala Center is great and the beautiful things that it's doing for the people in Mumbai, the kids in Mumbai. We can't thank you enough for all the effort that you've put in to help put this together. Even if this has been a huge group effort, obviously, to get the money together. Really, this is a big thank you to you for thinking this up and putting this charity out there, and then getting this event on the ground and on air as well. Thank you so much, Luca.
Thank you, guys.
That was Luca Verani, our organizer of this event. Unfortunately, it looks like we're running out of time here, so we do have to close up. One last call. If you do want to help the Vimala Center, there is a PayPal donation button in the description of the video. Definitely please go down and consider helping give it to the center, help some child's life that would not get the opportunity otherwise to live a good and full life over there and get educated as well. With that, once again, we do want to thank those sponsors again. I just want to second that. iRacing, VRS, Hoisingfeld Engineering, Lions Club, Machitaneri, and Sim Racing Coach for all coming in and donating. Another huge thank you to Luca for organizing this, and another huge thank you to all the donors, both drivers and viewers, everybody out there who's put money into this. Also, we personally at GSRC want to thank the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast. They are listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go out to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Johan, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including our upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check us out on social media. We're on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at /Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. That's going to close things up for week 13 for us. This is the last of our week 13 races, but we do come back to regular races. I believe our next one up coming on Tuesday is going to be the PRL series. They've come back for a few races this season. Glad to have them back with the GTE cars. But we also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.